you guys? Welcome to or welcome back to my channel. Thanks for clicking on my video today. I haven't made a YouTube video in so long. It's 2024 now. We're 2 months, well, technically 3 months into the new year as of right now, and YouTube is one of the main goals that I made for myself this year. I really wanted to become active on YouTube and build a community on here, and this is the stepping stone into doing so. These 2 months were kind of weird. I have a series in here that has become my entire personality. I don't know who I am without this series, so I'm so excited to talk to you guys about that. I started off 2024 with a bang, and that first book was Iron Flame. Now, I already know my opinion on this is in the minority. So many people just talked about this book so poorly, but I'm here to tell you guys, I rated this book 5 stars. I knew from honestly the middle of the book that this was gonna end up being 5 stars. I thought this book was so good. A lot of things that people hated were they didn't like how much bickering was between Xaden and Violet. Personally, I ate up the bickering. I thought it made it so entertaining. It made it so fun to read. I love that. I ate it up. I also enjoyed the action in this book. I feel like in Fourth Wing, we got action, but it wasn't like a heavy amount. However, in Iron Flame, it was like straight action, action, action. And I enjoyed that because it kept my attention span the entire book. It made me feel very optimistic for the new year, considering it was the first book that I finished in 2024. You know, I was just telling you guys how there's a series that changed my life and I will never be the same again. And that series was the Boys of Tommen series, okay? I just need you guys to listen to me for a second, okay? I just need to pour all of my heart, soul, and thoughts to you guys and convince you to read this series if you have not yet, if you're debating it, if you've seen it but you're not sure if you're gonna like it, if you've like heard about it but you're like, I don't know, there's not enough want there for me to read it, blah, blah, blah. Just listen to me for a second, okay? Please. This is the 3rd book in the series. I don't have my copies right now because my friend was borrowing them and she was reading them, because as I was reading them, I was like, you have got to read this series. Like, I don't care whatever books you're planning on reading. I don't care. You need to stop everything you're doing and read the series. So whenever she came and visited me, she took my books back with her, and she's also the one who bought me the first book in this series. So for that, Bestie Nina, if you're watching this, I will always be grateful to you for that. I tell her that all the time. I'm like, if you wouldn't have bought me Binding 13, I probably would have waited until the 5th book, Taming 7, comes out in April. I would be a different person right now if I hadn't started the series. Boys of Tommen series follows this group of friends and also these siblings. The first 2 books is Binding 13 and Keeping 13. The first 2 books follows Johnny and Shannon. Shannon is this like very timid, she has a very troubling at-home life, just very like sad, intimate girl. And then there's Johnny. He's like one of the popular guys at her school. He's like the captain of the rugby team. Like, he's the it boy. Like, he's just everything. Everyone loves him. If you don't love him, you want to be him. Like, if you don't want to be him, you want to be with him. Like, he's just like everything to everyone. And he meets Shannon because Shannon ends up transferring from her public school to Tommen. From the moment they meet, their love story begins. And I'm not kidding you guys, I was about probably like the 4th chapter into Binding 13 and I was hooked. I was crying already. I went into the series genuinely not knowing anything besides the fact that like they like played rugby. Oh, like this cute little sports romance, blah, 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 about this like rugby player and this girl. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. Like, not a single clue. I remember texting Nina and I was like, I'm only 4 chapters in and I already know that this book is gonna change my life. And it did that. You get to Saving 6, which is about Joey, who is Shannon's older brother, and his girlfriend, Aoife. Let me preface this by saying, I will do anything for Joey Lynch and Aoife Malloy. I would do anything for them. I will die for them. Like, I love them so much. I don't think I've ever loved a book couple as much as I love Joey and Aoife. Like, their books it like did something to me. Like it changed the trajectory of my life. Like it altered my brain chemistry when I read these two books. You read Binding 13, Keeping 13, and you're like, oh my gosh, this story is so sad. Like I'm hurting, like my heart's breaking. And then you get to the next two books and you don't know devastation until you read Saving Six and Redeeming Six. What's so cool about Joey's books were everything that happens in Shannon's books, the first two, but you see them from Joey's point of view and like way much more. And it's cool because Joey and Aoife have known each other since they were 12 years old. They've like had this kind of like unspoken liking for each other since literally the first day they meet. So in Saving Six, you get the first day that they ever meet all the way up until their 6th year. This is a 5-star series for me. I will probably bring up this series in every video if I can. I know that that was long and I know I just went on a whole tangent, but I can't go a day without thinking about any of these characters. So I actually did read one book in between Binding 13 and Keeping 13, and that was only because the first two books were only available in the US because they got reprinted by Bloom. So Saving Six didn't come out until towards the end of February, but I was like, once I finished Keeping 13, I was like, there's no way that I can wait a month for me to read the third book and then another month for the fourth book. Searching the internet, I was scounging. I was like, I know for a fact that the old copies are available somewhere and I'm gonna find them and I'm gonna order. I'm currently editing this video, but the camera cut out. What I was saying was I went on Chloe Wash's Instagram and saw that people were suggesting that I order them through Blackwell's UK. So that's exactly what I did. I ordered them and then they came in and that's how I was able to read them. While I was waiting for those two books to come in, I read one book on Kindle Unlimited and it was Devious Lies by Parker S. Huntington. I really did not like this book, you guys. Like at first, when I first began reading it, I thought, okay, maybe it's because I'm coming off this high of The Boys of Tommen and no book can truly compare to those books, but no, it wasn't even that. Like the book was just not good. I rated it like 2 stars. The plot wasn't there. Like the whole book, it was just like about their sexual tension. And then even once they got together, I was like, okay, like I don't even care. Like I couldn't even really tell you what it's even about right now. Like I'm pretty sure she ends up like going to work for his company. And she's also like this rich girl who leaves her family and then like refuses to like get help from her family because of things that they've done. So in order to like prove a point, she just will rather be poor and struggle and be hungry than just like use her inheritance and like her trust fund that she has. It was just not good. And then after that, I started the off-campus series. I read the first book, The Deal. I've been wanting to read the series forever and I just never did. Like I just kept like reading other books, like saying I was gonna read them eventually, but I never did. So then once I finally started, I can't lie, these books read very quickly. They're very easy to get through. They're enjoyable books. I really do wish that I would have read these back in 2020 when I really wanted to, when everyone was talking about them on like Book Talk. It was like the beginning of Book Talk. I know for a fact that I would have ate up the off-campus series in high school and like early college. I just know. But at the point where I am right now with like my reading, I've read so many books, especially so many like sports books. I only read the first 3 books. I hate these covers, by the way. They're terrible. Of course, she made like really cute covers after like 10,000 years of these books being out. In between, I'm pretty sure The Mistake and The Score, I read A Court of Thorns and Roses, which I'm about to get into. And once I read that, I was like, I don't care. Eventually, I am going to get into The Goal and then I'm going to read The Legacy because the whole reason why I wanted to read this series was because of the 4th book. So one day when I need a palate cleanser, but I'm really in no rush to finish the series. Before I read A Court of Thorns and Roses, I read If I Had Told Her, which this is a new release. This one came out in February, and this is like the sequel to If He Had Been With Me. If He Had Been With Me like shook my world last year when I read it. It was completely devastating. Like I didn't read a book for like a week after that because I was so heartbroken over that book. So I was super excited to get into this book. However, This book was not at all what I thought it was going to be. Like, if I would have read the back, I would have saw that it was going to be from 3 different perspectives. It's from Jack, Finn, and then Autumn. I like went into this book thinking that the entire book was going to be everything that happened in If I Had Told Her, but just from his point of view. So I think me going into this book thinking that that's how it was going to be definitely affected how much I enjoyed reading this one. Finn's perspective made me want to die. Like, I can't lie. Like, the way he talks about her, the way he praises her name, and the way he loved her. And then you get into Jack's point of view, and it's just sad to see him go through, like, losing his best friend and how, like, handling it, and, like, the fact that he lost Finn right before they're supposed to go to college and they're supposed to be roommates in college. Like, it was way too much. Like, it was super sad, but it started to lose me once I was in his point of view, because I was like, okay, like, nothing's really happening. Like, this book is like really bringing me down. You get to Autumn's point of view and you find out things that are honestly shocking that I like thought, okay, like this plot twist is gonna turn this book around, and then it didn't. Like, once I ended up finishing the book, I was like, this is not at all what I expected this book to be like. And I wasn't disappointed to where it like ruined it for me, but I was disappointed to where I was just like, the book kind of just felt like a long epilogue. Definitely don't think it's necessary to read after you read If Only He Had Been With Me. Finally, I brought this up. Court of Thorns and Roses. I finally freaking read this book, y'all. I feel like I've talked about this book in probably 2 or 3 videos that I've made where I kept saying this was going to be on my TBR, and I finally read it, and it did not disappoint, you guys. To say that this is the first book in the ACOTAR series is amazing, because this book was so good. It had me so excited to keep reading the series, and it's just exciting to finally be in the Sarah J. Maas universe and to be in the loop. Once I finished this first book, I had no idea what was gonna happen. I had no idea what was gonna come. I still don't really know. Like, I'm on the 2nd book right now, A Court of Mist and Fury, and I'm only about halfway, so I still just have no idea, because there's so many things that are bound to happen that I just don't know about yet, and that just makes me very excited to just keep reading. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, listening to me talk about all the books that I've read so far in this new year. So excited. It's 2024, a new year of new releases, and I'm so excited to be making videos again. Thank you for sticking around to the end, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.